podcast where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting new ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to robot facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Bullvine Podcast. Today, we are exploring how mid-sized dairies are outpacing the mega farms by thinking smarter, not bigger. Please sit back, pour your coffee, and let's get into the story shaping the future of dairy.
Welcome back to the Bullvine Podcast, the show that digs deep into the topics that matter to dairy producers. Today, we're diving into a feature article from the Bullvine that sparked some serious discussion across the industry.
That's right. This isn't just another article. It's a real game changer, really. We're going to break down how smart dairies, specifically those often overlooked mid-sized operations, in that sweet spot of maybe 400, 600 cows, how they're not just surviving, but actually outperforming mega farms in this rapidly evolving era of dairy production.
Yeah.
Our mission today is to really pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from this piece and help you understand why this shift is happening and maybe more importantly, what it could mean for your operation.
It's a really compelling narrative, and it challenges decades of conventional wisdom, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
For as long as many of us can remember, the mantra in dairy has just been get big or get out.
Yeah.
It felt like the only guaranteed path to survival was just relentless expansion, chasing those economies of scale.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, the numbers, they seem to back that up. They painted a pretty stark picture of consolidation across the U.S. dairy landscape.
Oh, absolutely. The sheer scale of that consolidation it's almost breathtaking when you look at it. Between 2017 and 2022, the U.S. dairy industry saw this truly dramatic transformation. We lost about 15,600 dairy farms.
Wow.
Which is a staggering 40% decline in just 5 years.
40%.
Yeah. To put that into perspective, that's one of the most significant consolidations in agricultural history. The article calls it a genuine stampede for the exits, and that really paints a picture.
It really does. It speaks volumes about the intense pressures facing producers, forcing so many family operations to make these incredibly difficult decisions.
Yeah.
It really makes you pause and think about the human stories behind those numbers. Thousands of families who poured their lives into their farms now finding themselves sort of on the outside looking in. And yet, what's truly fascinating, almost counterintuitive, is the contradiction that lies beneath those stark figures.
Right.
Despite nearly 40% of farms disappearing from the landscape, milk production in the U.S. actually increased by 5% during that exact same period.
And that right there, that's the crux of the whole get big or get out philosophy, isn't it? It highlights how dramatically efficiency and just sheer scale have reshaped the sector. It's not just about the loss of farms, it's about the immense concentration of where that production has landed. The article points out that farms with 2,500 more cows, they now control an astounding 46% of all U.S. milk production.
Almost half, from just 3% of the farms.
Exactly. Let me repeat that. Nearly half the nation's milk comes from these operations, even though they represent just a tiny fraction, a mere 3% of total dairy operations. This isn't just a trend, it's a real economic force, and we're seeing it continue, in real time. Wisconsin losing 400 farms just in 2024. Minnesota and New York combined shedding another 315 in the same period. It's just testament to the relentless economic pressures driving this.
And traditionally, that get big wisdom was rooted in a very real, very tangible economic advantage. It wasn't just like a theory.
No, it was real money.
Historically, large-scale operations, especially those with 2,000 plus cows, they could reliably operate at about $10 less per hundredweight than smaller farms, say, those in the 100, 199 cow range.
$10 a hundredweight, different.
Yeah. Think about what that difference means on a farm, day in, day out. In 2022, for instance, total production costs for those smaller operations averaged $23.06 per hundredweight. So if you're a producer looking at those numbers, it made perfect sense why massive scale was seen as the primary, maybe the only guarantee of survival. It was about pure, undeniable cost advantage through volume purchasing, specialized equipment, streamlined processes.
Right. And for decades, that advantage was, well, it was practically unassailable. Larger farms could negotiate better prices on feed, which, can eat up like 60% of your expenses.
Chunk.
Huge. They could invest in larger, more efficient machinery, spread fixed costs over more units, command more favorable terms with milk processors, all that stuff. But what's truly fascinating, and this is where the article really pivots, is that these aggregate statistics, while they clearly show immense consolidation, they might actually be masking a far more nuanced and dynamic reality. It's not just about the raw numbers anymore. It's about the unique vulnerabilities that these mega dairies now face. Vulnerabilities that smart, agile, mid-sized operations are actually learning to exploit.
So you're saying the game is changing, that the traditional advantages of scale aren't the only path to success anymore.
That's what the evidence suggests.
Because if I'm a producer who's been told for 30 years that scale is everything, how do I wrap my head around this shift?
Precisely. It's almost like the industry is hitting a fork in the road, where the path forward isn't solely about pure size anymore. While those larger farms definitely still have their built-in advantages, their sheer size can also be their Achilles heel.
How so?
Well, imagine the complexity. Managing thousands of cows, hundreds of employees, vast tracts of land, any hiccup, a labor shortage, a regulatory change, even just a single feed delivery delay can create these cascading problems. And they're incredibly difficult and costly to address because of the sheer inertia of such a large operation.
Right, harder to turn the big ship.
Exactly. And this is where we get to the kind of the aha moment of the article. Some mid-sized operations, specifically those in that 400, 600 cow sweet spot.
Yeah.
They're not just hanging on, they're posting better margins in operations twice their size.
Better margins.
Yeah. They're finding ways to thrive in the margins, to work smarter, not just bigger.
Better margins in farms twice their size. That's a truly provocative claim. It completely upends the brutal reality of consolidation we just talked about.
It does.
And it reveals this surprising trend. It sounds like the financial stress, the multi-million-dollar investments with these multi-year paybacks, and the sort of implicit assumption that everything has to go perfectly. That's a heavy burden for many of these huge operations.
A very heavy burden.
So what exactly is allowing these mid-sized farms to redefine success? To achieve this kind of performance? What's their secret weapon?
Well, their secret weapon, it seems, is a combination of strategic thinking and, crucially, technology, which leads us right into our second major theme, the technology revolution that's reshaping the dairy landscape. The article highlights how affordable precision dairy technology is fundamentally altering the competitive landscape. It's making tools that were once exclusive to the giants accessible to these mid-sized farms. It's a genuine technology revolution happening right now.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because this isn't about some, future theoretical tech. This is happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Take robotic milking systems, for instance. A decade ago, these felt like something out of a sci-fi movie, right?
Oh.
Or at least only for the absolute deepest pockets, the mega dairies.
Totally.
But now, they're not just a viable option, they're becoming a strategic necessity for a farm with, say, 400, 600 cows. The adoption rate is just soaring across North America.
It really is. Approximately 20% of U.S. dairy cows are now milked by robotic systems. And in Canada, those adoption rates are even higher. It reflects a global trend.
20% already.
Yeah. And it's not just about the shiny new equipment or the novelty of automation. It's about the tangible, compelling economics of this technology. One of the biggest drivers, as Dr. Lainey Koval from Cornell's Pro-Dairy program confirms, is labor savings.
The labor piece. Huge.
Critical in an industry perpetually grappling with labor shortages. Robotics can cut hands-on labor requirements by a significant 30–40%. For family operations where every hour counts, this isn't just a convenience, it's a game changer for quality of life, for sustainability.
30 to 40% less labor.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was a Cornell study focused on farms around 390 cows using automatic milking systems. AMS. They found farmers' estimated labor costs dropped by over 21%.
Okay.
But get this. They also reported a 58% increase in milk production.
58% increase.
And a 32% improvement in milk quality.
So less cost, more milk, better quality.
Exactly. Think about that for a moment. Significant cost reduction, higher output, and better quality, all from one strategic investment. That's an incredible trifecta. of benefits. It's too good to be true, but the data, it's compelling.
It really is.
And the article gives this fantastic anecdote that really brings it to life for any farmer listening. A producer in central Wisconsin recounted that during 2 recent power outages, his robots just picked up right where they left off when the power came back on.
Yeah.
He didn't lose sleep worrying about getting the cow's milk. That's not just peace of mind, that's operational resilience.
Huge.
It means less stress during critical times, maintaining consistent protocols regardless of what's happening outside. You just can't put a price on that.
You absolutely can't. But there is a price for the initial investment, and it's surprisingly reasonable for the return it offers.
Okay.
A typical robotic milking system costs between, say, $150,000 and $200,000 per unit, and each robot can handle about 60 cows efficiently.
Right.
So a farm in that 400, 600 cow range might be looking at around 6 to 10 units. It's a substantial investment, sure, but manageable, especially given the payback.
And when you look at a real-world case study, like the one the article highlights, the numbers become even more compelling.
Yeah, tell us about that one.
It meticulously analyzes a 420-cow Wisconsin operation that made the switch to robotics. Their production costs dropped dramatically, from $18.50 down to $16.80 per hundredweight.
Okay, a $1.70 difference.
Right. That seemingly small difference translates to an annual savings of $95,000.
Wow. $95,000 a year.
And here's the kicker. A remarkable payback period of approximately 22 months.
22 months, less than 2 years to recoup that kind of investment.
Exactly. Less than 2 years.
Now compare that. Just compare that to the traditional alternative, which for many years was the only option, right? Scaling up.
Right. Getting bigger.
Going from, say, 300 to 800 cows. That kind of expansion needs a massive $1.8 million in capital investment.
Oof. Big number.
Huge. It creates $22,000 in monthly debt service, and it demands a break-even milk price of $19.20 per hundredweight against a current market average of, $21.50?
Yeah, tight margins there.
Yeah. The financial stress difference between those two paths, it's just dramatic. One producer, grappling with a major expansion, described it vividly. He said it was like hooking a boat anchor to your tractor.
That's a good one.
You're moving, but good luck stopping or changing direction when market conditions shift or, unforeseen challenges hit. It's a very, very heavy burden compared to the tech investment.
That analogy really captures the feeling, doesn't it? Being locked into that high leverage, less agile strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about milking robots, is it? Precision feeding and these cloud-based management platforms are also transformative. They offer another layer of efficiency and control.
Absolutely critical.
Take cloud-based platforms like Ever.Ag's Milk Plus system. These aren't just glorified spreadsheets, they're sophisticated tools. They let farms optimize feeding protocols, track individual cow performance with incredible granularity.
Down to the single cow.
Yeah, and adjust rations based on real-time component data coming back.
And when we talk about real time, we mean it. These systems can capture over 90 load attributes. Think about that.
90? Like what?
Everything from protein and fat content to specific mineral levels, moisture, even the particle size of the feed ingredients. This gives you real-time visibility that allows for incredibly rapid adjustments.
Okay, and why is that so critical?
Because feed costs represent over 75% of operating costs.
75%.
And over 50% of total costs for milk production. Think about the leverage there. Smart feed management, enabled by this tech, can literally turn what's traditionally been this huge, unavoidable cost center into a profit center by optimizing nutrient intake, reducing waste, ensuring every dollar spent on feed is working as hard as it possibly can.
Turning feed costs into a profit center. That's a different way of thinking.
It is, and the agility it provides. Think about reacting to things like muddy roads during heavy rains or delayed feed deliveries because of supply chain issues. This tech allows these operations to maintain production and quality when larger, more rigid systems might struggle to adapt quickly. It's a huge, often overlooked benefit.
Okay, this raises an important question then. If the technology offers such clear, measurable ROI, why is the instinct for so many still often just to add more cows? Is it just ingrained habit or?
I think it's a mix. There's definitely a strong pull from decades of conditioning, that bigger is better. It's hard to shake that.
Sure.
But the examples here, like that Wisconsin operation, They clearly show how a targeted tech investment can lead to faster payback, significantly less financial stress, and just more control than simply expanding herd size. It's about working smarter with the resources you already have, leveraging data to make those critical, often daily decisions.
Right.
It's the difference between what the article calls scaling smart versus simply scaling big.
Scaling smart versus scaling big. I like that.
Yeah, the former focuses on optimizing efficiency and profitability per cow. The latter often chases volume, sometimes at the expense of agility and maybe even overall margin. Being nimble, being able to adjust quickly, that's proving to be a powerful competitive advantage right now.
Scaling smart.
Yeah.
I really love that phrase. It truly captures the essence of this shift. It's not about avoiding growth, maybe, but about fundamentally rethinking how you grow and where you allocate your precious capital and resources.
Exactly.
The article also touches on a crucial point that we can't overlook. Successful tech adoption isn't just about buying the latest gadget, right?
No, definitely not.
It notes that nearly 30% of technology projects can fail.
30%?
Yeah, due to poor integration and inadequate staff training. So it's not just about acquiring the tech, it's about doing the homework. The infrastructure audits, investing in staff education, ensuring maybe a gradual rollout instead of just wholesale disruptive system changes to really make it stick and realize those promised returns.
Precisely. That careful integration, the focus on matching the technology to your existing infrastructure and management systems, that's absolutely key. The well-designed robotic systems in free-flow barns, for instance, they average about 45 minutes of daily milking-related labor per robot. That's a massive efficiency gain.
Huge.
But poorly designed or integrated systems, they can actually require significantly more management time, negating a lot of the benefits.
Oh, interesting.
It really underlines that the technology itself is only part of the solution. The human element, the training, the strategic planning around implementation, they're just as vital for unlocking those impressive returns. It's an investment in your people and your processes as much as it is in the hardware itself.
That makes a lot of sense. So with all this talk about technology enabling efficiency and better margins, what does this all mean for how dairy farms truly compete in the marketplace today? It feels like focus is shifting dramatically from just pure volume, just filling the tank, to optimizing for value and strategically navigating these big challenges like the ever-present labor crisis.
Exactly. The game is changing.
Let's talk about the component premium opportunity first, because for many, this is becoming, like you said, a hidden gold mine. The market is increasingly rewarding quality over sheer quantity.
Yep.
Current national data, for example, shows protein averaging around 3.32% and butterfat hitting 4.23%.
And here's the kicker. Specialty processors are paying substantial premiums for those higher component levels. This isn't just a slight bump. It can be a significant addition to the milk check.
Real money.
Real money. The market dynamics are clearly demonstrating this shift. Recent trading sessions, for example, showed Class 4 milk prices commanding premiums of $1.71 per hundredweight over Class 3.
Wow, $1.71 premium.
Driven primarily by butterfat demand. Butter prices have surged to $2.62 a pound. U.S. butter exports are up 41% year over year. This creates incredibly strong incentives for farms that can precisely optimize their component production.
And guess what enables this precision? Technology. Precision feeding. Those cloud platforms,
Right.
they allow for real-time adjustments to feeding protocols, to rations, directly impacting those component levels.
Right. That ability to capture over 90 load attributes and make rapid adjustments, it literally turns what was once just a production metric into a profit center. You're actively managing for components, not just hoping for them.
That's a monumental shift from the old days where it was simply about maximizing gallons in the tank.
Totally different mindset.
Now let's pivot to another massive industry-wide challenge that kind of paradoxically provides a hidden advantage for these mid-sized operations. The labor crisis.
Oh, yeah. This is a severe chronic problem across the entire dairy industry, and it shows absolutely no signs of letting up.
It's tough up there.
We know that 51% of the U.S. dairy workforce comprises immigrant workers who produce 79% of the nation's milk. And the policy uncertainty around this, it creates massive operational vulnerabilities and incredible stress for producers just trying to staff their farms.
It's a very real, very pressing, and deeply human issue. The current labor stats reveal the sheer scope of the challenge. The average turnover rate for U.S. dairies is a staggering 38.8%.
38.8% turnover. Think about the constant churn, the loss of institutional knowledge, the retraining costs.
It's exhausting. And high turnover isn't just an HR headache. It's directly correlated to decreased performance across the board.
How so?
We're talking 1.8% decreases in milk production, 1.7% increases in calf loss, and 1.6% increases in cow death rates linked to high turnover.
Wow. Direct impact on the animals in production.
Absolutely. And agricultural labor costs. They exceeded $53 billion in 2025, with the USDA forecasting yet another 3.6% increase just for next year. These numbers are just devastating for an industry already operating on tight margins.
Devastating for a large operation trying to staff hundreds of employees across multiple shifts, often with complex management structures.
Right.
But this is precisely where mid-sized operations often find a structural advantage, especially when you combine it with technology. Robotic milking systems, for example. We mentioned they reduce daily milking management time from an average of 5.2 hours down to just 2 hours.
Huge difference.
This isn't just a convenience or a small efficiency, it's a huge operational buffer. It helps maintain consistent protocols regardless of labor availability fluctuations. For family operations in particular, this technology allows them to effectively manage, say, 150, 200 cows with the same workforce that previously maybe handled just 80, 100 cows.
Right. So it allows them to scale smartly without needing a huge influx of new labor.
Exactly. That's efficiency that translates directly into resilience and survival when reliable help is increasingly hard to find. It allows families to keep their farms running without having to work themselves into the ground.
And beyond just milking, smaller and mid-sized operations often demonstrate greater agility in adapting to other things, right? Like seasonal challenges or evolving regulatory changes.
Yeah. Definitely. Think about it. Installing group housing for calves, improving ventilation, providing outdoor access. These kinds of welfare improvements are operationally much simpler and less costly to implement on a 150-cow farm compared to trying to retrofit or build that infrastructure across a sprawling 10,000-cow operation spread over multiple counties. It's just a different scale of complexity.
And those welfare improvements, which are often easier for smaller farms to implement without massive capital outlays, they increasingly translate into marketing differentiators, don't they? Premium pricing opportunities.
Absolutely. We've seen this play out in Europe and even Canada. For instance, Canadian dairy farmers, with their pro-action program setting stricter animal welfare standards, they've shown that smaller operations often adapt faster. They turn compliance into a genuine marketing advantage with a story that really resonates with consumers.
And that connects right back to that critical sustainability and consumer connection advantage, which is becoming, well, almost non-negotiable for many buyers these days.
You got it.
Consumers are increasingly demanding transparency, verifiable sustainability credentials. But here's the rub. Many mega processors struggle with their legacy ERP systems.
Those big old enterprise software platforms.
Right, often built for managing massive volumes. These systems are designed for sheer throughput, not necessarily granular traceability back to individual farms. They can track millions of gallons of milk, sure, but they can't easily identify the source farm for specific products in the dairy case.
Which creates a huge opportunity then.
Exactly. For mid-sized farms that can credibly demonstrate high animal welfare standards and genuine environmental stewardship, they can provide that traceability.
That authenticity advantage. It's something that scale simply cannot buy or replicate. It's priceless.
Yeah.
Look at the example of Sheldon Creek Dairy in Ontario, highlighted in the article. Just 65 homebred Holsteins, their own on-farm processing for A2 milk.
Tiny operation, relatively speaking.
Tiny. But they command premium prices based purely on trust and transparency. Their customers literally drive past 3 grocery stores to buy their milk because they know the family, they understand their practices, they trust their methods.
That's powerful.
That is an asset you can't acquire or synthesize no matter how many thousands of cows you're milking. It's built on reputation and that direct connection.
And companies are noticing this trend too, right? Developing tools.
Yeah, companies like Ever.Ag are responding. They're launching sustainability platforms specifically for dairy operations, helping farms measure and manage carbon footprints, providing the robust documentation needed to access these premium markets and supply chains. This makes it easier for smaller operations to implement and document sustainable practices compared to the massive multi-site operations.
What's truly fascinating here is how all these different pieces, the tech, the labor solutions, the market premiums, the consumer demand, they seem to connect, don't they? They form this powerful, synergistic, competitive advantage for these mid-sized operations.
It all fits together. It's not just about producing more milk, it's about producing more valuable milk. Milk with a story that consumers want to hear and, frankly, pay for.
Yeah.
the labor crisis, while daunting, actually provides this sort of perverse incentive for technology adoption.
Right, pushes them towards it.
Which then reinforces component optimization and sustainability efforts. And ultimately, that ties right into consumer demand for authenticity, which, as we said, is much easier for a mid-sized operation to deliver on.
It's like a virtuous cycle.
Exactly. And European dairies have already shown us this path, right? Shifting away from competing solely on volume to focusing on specialty products, value-added processing, and it's generated price premiums of over 15% in recent years. It's a potential blueprint for success.
That's a critical insight. It highlights how regional patterns often show these adaptation strategies focusing on efficiency and value in traditional dairy states rather than just raw, unchecked expansion. It's about winning on dollars per gallon versus simply gallons produced. It's about optimizing for profit per cow, not just total cows. It's a fundamental shift.
It really is. And the nimbleness, the ability to tweak rations daily for muddy conditions or stressed cows or delayed feed deliveries, as the article mentioned, that allows these operations to maintain production and quality when rigid, larger systems might struggle to adapt.
Right.
This agility extends to seasonal advantages, too. Smaller facilities are easier to heat and monitor in winter. Flexible feed sourcing helps adapt to spring weather delays. Individual cow monitoring can help prevent heat stress in summer. Rapid herd management decisions can be made for breeding season in the fall.
These aren't just minor perks.
No, these are crucial elements of resilience that directly impact the bottom line and overall farm health. It adds up.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture then, the article posits this fascinating vision for 2030, looking ahead to what the future of dairy might actually look like.
Yeah, it gets really interesting here.
It suggests two distinct business models are emerging in the dairy sector, operating almost like parallel universes. On one side, you have what the article calls the volume engine tier.
Right. These are the mega dairies, continuing their relentless focus on commodity production, competing globally on efficiency, on sheer scale, constantly trying to shave pennies off their cost per hundredweight.
A game of pennies.
Exactly. Their success will be measured primarily in those pennies, and they'll remain inherently vulnerable to market volatility, global commodity prices, constantly shifting regulatory changes. It's a high-stakes, high-volume game.
And then on the other side, you have the value network tier. This is where those technology-enabled mid-sized operations really shine and differentiate themselves. Their focus is squarely on value creation, maximizing component optimization, building robust sustainability credentials, fostering those direct, meaningful customer relationships.
Right.
These farms might produce less total volume of milk, but they're strategically positioned to capture disproportionate profitability through premium pricing and direct market access.
And the research cited in the article suggests these value-focused operations could actually capture up to 30% of industry profits.
30% of the profit?
Yeah, even while producing significantly less milk volume. The article uses a great line. It's not about the size of the pie slice, but which pie you're eating from.
Huh, that's good. Which pie you're eating from.
That's a powerful distinction. It means the metrics of success are fundamentally changing. We're shifting from simply measuring gallons produced to this more holistic view of dollars per gallon, optimizing for profit per cow instead of just focusing on total cow numbers.
There's a significant mindset shift for an industry so long focused just on expansion, expansion, expansion.
Huge shift. And the technology roadmap firmly supports this bifurcation. Emerging technologies like AI health monitoring, precision genetics, blockchain traceability, they're becoming increasingly accessible and affordable for mid-sized operations. They offer competitive advantages that scale alone simply cannot provide. These are the barn's brain investments, as the article suggests.
The barn's brain.
Not just its physical size. It's about investing in intelligence, not just acreage.
This really forces us to ask an important question, doesn't it? For anyone listening. Are you competing in the right game for your operation?
Absolutely. That's the core question. Because the current market conditions, volatile milk prices, severe labor shortages, increasing regulatory complexity, they actually favor operations that prioritize agility, efficiency, and value creation over pure scale. The farms that are truly thriving today are those that compete on value creation rather than just cost minimization alone.
So while the death of get big or get out might be maybe premature as a full pronouncement.
Yeah, maybe a bit strong.
Its dominance as the only viable strategy is definitely ending.
I think that's fair to say. The future is less about getting bigger and more about getting smarter.
And we're seeing this market shift validated by significant industry investments too, aren't we?
Yeah, that's a huge point. Over $8 billion in new dairy processing infrastructure is being specifically designed to handle high component operations.
$8 billion.
That kind of capital expenditure clearly signals the industry's shift toward quality over quantity. The processors are betting on this.
That investment alone speaks volumes. It's a clear signal from the processing side that the market is actively valuing these component-rich, often more traceable products.
No doubt.
And for farms looking to adapt, the importance of strategic planning and phased technology implementation can't be overstated. It's not about wholesale, risky changes overnight.
No, it's careful, validated steps.
The article's conclusion really crystallizes this. For the thousands of mid-sized dairy operations facing that immense pressure to expand or exit, the evidence strongly suggests a third, incredibly compelling option.
Evolve.
Evolve, yeah. It's about redefining success on your own terms.
It absolutely is. The old questions like, how big should I get, are being replaced by more relevant, more strategic ones.
Totally. Like, how can I optimize genetic merit and component production with my current resources?
Or what technologies will deliver the fastest return on investment and maybe improve my quality of life? Yeah, or how can I genuinely differentiate my products in premium markets?
These are the questions that will define profitability, resilience, and honestly, overall farm satisfaction moving forward.
It's about leveraging your unique strengths and making smart, data-driven choices in what is actually a dynamic and opportunity-rich environment, despite the challenges.
Okay, so after all that, for a farmer listening today, what are the most critical, actionable insights they should be thinking about right now? Let's boil it down.
Okay, yeah, let's break this down into a few clear steps you can take. First, you really need to calculate your labor costs for robotics.
Get the calculator out.
Seriously. This isn't just curiosity, it's about hard numbers. We know robotic milking systems slash hands-on labor by 30-40%. That allows family operations to manage maybe 150-200 cows with the same workforce that previously handled 8,100. So grab your current labor costs per cow factor and wages, benefits, even the hidden costs of turnover, and compare that against the potential for, say, a 22-month tech payback period, like in that Wisconsin case study we talked about. This analysis will give you a clear financial picture. It shows how reducing labor dependency translates into tangible financial returns and, frankly, a much better quality of life.
Okay, good first step. What's next?
Second, definitely explore cloud-based platforms for management. Systems like Ever.Ag's Milk Plus Average, they aren't just for mega dairies anymore. They can cut your operational costs by 5-10% potentially by automating everything from feed mixing and route optimization to producer payments and inventory management.
5 to 10% savings. That adds up.
It really does. Sign up for demos this quarter, especially while milk prices are relatively stable, around $21, $23 per hundredweight. This is the perfect time to evaluate these systems without the pressure of crazy market volatility. Understanding these efficiency gains now will position you for future success and help you fine-tune your operations down to the last detail, allowing for those rapid adjustments that save real money.
Makes sense. Evaluate when things are calm. What else?
Number 3, optimize for component premiums. This is truly your hidden goldmine. With protein averaging 3.32% and butterfat hitting 4.23% nationally, cheese plants, specialty processors, they are actively paying substantial premiums for quality.
Don't leave money on the table.
Exactly. Don't just assume your milk is good enough. Audit your current component levels with your milk processor. Then work with your nutritionist. Make immediate data-driven adjustments to your feeding protocols to boost those levels. Even a small increase in butterfat or protein can translate into significant additional dollars per hundredweight, directly impacting your bottom line without adding a single cow.
Great point. Okay, number 4.
Fourth, look at how you can leverage regulatory changes for marketing. This is a huge opportunity often overlooked. New animal welfare standards, for instance. They're often much easier and more cost-effective to implement on a 150-cow farm than on a 10,000-cow operation.
Turn a requirement into an advantage.
Precisely. Instead of viewing compliance as just a cost, turn it into a marketing advantage. Credibly demonstrate your high standards, whether it's calf housing, cow comfort, environmental stewardship. Demonstrate it to premium buyers and specialty processors. Authenticity and traceability are what consumers are increasingly willing to pay for, and your mid-sized operation has a natural advantage in telling that story.
Okay, and the final key takeaway.
Finally, and this is maybe the most important mindset shift, prioritize technology ROI over blind expansion. The old playbook of just add more cows. Yeah, it might deliver 8-12% returns over 7-10 years, maybe. But precision tech investments right now are hitting 200-300% ROI with paybacks under 2 years in these 2025 market conditions.
200 to 300% ROI.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's a different league. Your next big investment should probably be in your barn's brain. It's data, it's automation, it's intelligence, not just its physical size. It's about getting smarter, not just bigger, to thrive and ensure the long-term resilience and profitability of your dairy in this evolving landscape. The evidence is clear. For thousands of mid-sized dairy operations, that third option is to evolve.
Evolve. Great point.
Thanks.
And that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. For more articles, research, and insights that matter to dairy producers, be sure to visit www.thebullvine.com.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss any of our future deep dives. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning in to the Bullvine Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and share it with your fellow farmers. Got questions or ideas for future episodes? Send them our way. Until next time, keep innovating, keep thriving, and keep the dairy spirit alive. Andrew, signing off.